Hello and welcome to another TFHB Tier Maker special. Today we are going to look at the feistiest, the best UK football derbies. How are we feeling?
I love a derby. I absolutely love a derby. Whatever sort of Premier League derby's on TV or an EFL derby, you want to just watch it because there's always something added to it, isn't there? It means so much to the local fans. But we're going to have our best chance at sort of assessing the significance of them across the UK, I think.
We've got quite a lot here to get through. We're not going to name them all now, but we're going to find out as we go through. We have 5 tiers. We have top tiers, pure hatred for those derbies. The team just really don't like each other, the fans as well. Then down to top class, good, okay, and then finally not bothered. So basically, what else is on?
Only they care.
Yeah, it's very localised.
Yeah.
We could put that down, localised. Right, okay, we're going to start then with Wimbledon MK Dons, a derby that was very recently played with a lot of stuff in the press about players kicking footballs into the crowd and so on. This is, of course, I mean, it's quite an easy one to put. I think pure hatred straight away, isn't it?
Yeah, and for those who maybe haven't followed it, or it's it happened 20 plus years ago now. Wimbledon, fairly successful English football team, taken from Wimbledon and franchised similarly to American style, moved to Milton Keynes, which was a new city in the UK. They needed a team, and so they just, rather than grow a local team, they took a successful team. Obviously, season ticket holders and fans that watch for years and years, and Wimbledon's an important part of London. Obviously, with the tennis tournament is a central part of London. Moving them, however many miles, 50 so 100 miles to Milton Keynes, really quite significant at the time, and they don't like each other still because of it. Yeah,
and then the fans created this club as a
sort
of a protest. The lowest of the low, the bottom of the pyramid,
tier,
and got all the way up to League One, I think, is the highest they've been.
And actually probably more successful as a club than MK Dons.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So absolutely incredible. Right, Arsenal Spurs, the North London derby next. What are we thinking?
I think for me this is top class because of how much I've enjoyed some of the battles over the years.
Yeah,
thinking of like the David Bentley goal, remember that one there? There's some great ones that Kane has scored across the derbies. You rarely get a poor North London derby.
It's always a goal fest, isn't it? It's always quite heated as well.
Yeah.
Definitely got
they
better
dislike each other as well. They do dislike each other, so maybe it could be hatred. But as a watchability, it's definitely top class.
Born out of the fact that Spurs think they're the only club from North London because Arsenal originally from the south was Woolwich. And it is. Arsenal have definitely had the better of it over the last ever. But Spurs more recently had a few bit more success. Right, let's move on then. This is UK derbies. This is actually an Irish one. Limerick against Cork City. I don't know much about it myself, so I can't put it anywhere really high.
No,
because I've not seen it played. What should we do? Just pop it in, okay, because we've never seen it before, or
I think
lower?
We're probably going to have to. Inform us. Tell us in the comments if it's a quality derby.
Let us know, thanks. Right, okay. Chelsea Spurs now. So this is not the same level as Arsenal and Chelsea and Spurs, but it's always a very fractious game.
And my Chelsea supporting mates absolutely hate Spurs.
Yes.
For them, any player crossing the divide from any club, they'd rather them go to Arsenal or any other clubs. They wouldn't want them to go to Spurs. And the whole Kane, when he was on the move, will he join Chelsea? They were like, he could never do it. Whereas I think people outside that derby could go, it makes sense for him. Maybe Chelsea just striker, move there. People like he could never cross that divide. That derby was so big.
Battle of the Bridge, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I've been to one of the derbies in the League Cup, and it was a quality game again. So I think it's definitely good. Maybe not as good as.
I'm gonna put it good. It probably is a top class game, but I'm gonna put it in good purely because I don't think it is. I don't think it's real. It's a London derby, but it's not the derby, is it? So I don't think it can go as high as Arsenal.
I'll let you take the comments from Chelsea fans and Tottenham fans on that.
Okay. Chelsea got fun, haven't they? That's a big one. Right. Man City, Manchester United, the Manchester Derby. What we thinking?
Risen to prominence in recent years.
Yeah, the last 15 years,
Significant one many years ago when there was a famous game where City relegated United.
Yes. 70s,
law.
Isn't it? Yeah.
But I think it's great in terms of left. We talked about it before, the 6-1 at Old Trafford. Obviously, been really significant in title battles in recent memory. Company scored a cracker, didn't he? So I think it is good, but you could put it in okay in terms of history. So maybe you drop it down just to okay because of the longevity of it.
We can't put it okay. Right, it's going to go good.
Okay.
It's good. It's still a good derby.
It is a good derby. Whenever they play each other, it's great.
But these two don't like each other. Blackburn and Burnley. Lancashire derby. Obviously, I haven't seen as much of it because sometimes they're in different leagues. And obviously, Burnley, a bit of a yo-yo club. Blackburn, historically, been usually in the top tier. But I know there is a lot of hatred in this one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of local pride at stake.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay. This next one, I mean, Watford-Luton. Didn't you know that was a derby? Not bothered.
I think they care, again, locally. So
people
will rant.
I think there's quite a bit of a distance between them.
People will tell you off for it, but I think because they only care in their locality.
Okay, right, not bothered. Sorry. Liverpool United, probably the biggest game in English football.
Historically, yeah, and
most successful
between the two most successful clubs in English football.
Goes back to the Manchester Shipping Canal, taking business away from Merseyside back in the Victorian era.
Political.
Yeah, no. I think it's just pure hatred, isn't it?
I think it is pure hatred, yeah. Because obviously they're competing not just during that game itself, but across the season. You know, Liverpool wanted to outdo United. United want to outdo Liverpool.
You could argue that's maybe fallen a little bit in recent years.
Quality-wise,
United's
maybe
decline.
But you can't remember many poor derbies of that.
7-0 last year, wasn't it? Right, Arsenal, Chelsea. Now Arsenal go a lot here in Chelsea, right? I know they're very hated. If we're looking at this back in maybe mid-2000s, I think it's really pretty high. But I think it's fallen off a little bit in recent years.
I would even be prepared to put it below Chelsea, Tottenham.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I think in recent years it's gone down to okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Yeah, sorry.
It doesn't stick in the memory for that quality.
I can't think of any right now. I think it was some of the games, like I said, in the 2000s, but not recently. Right. Swansea, Cardiff. Not bothered?
I am very bothered.
Pure hatred?
I think it is. I think in our locality it is, and there's a lot. You know, I went to Swansea University, as did you, and I was a Cardiff fan, and it's very much advised don't wear a Cardiff shirt around Swansea.
And you did.
Well, I still had a Cardiff season ticket, and occasionally I'd have to shoot off home to the Cardiff games.
Yeah.
And they were very much like, don't show that off. You know, I had a Cardiff badge on my car, and they were like, oh, I wouldn't leave that parked everywhere. Maybe, certainly when you see other people talk about it, they do talk about it as a great game. We're playing this weekend. You know, it will be played by the time this video comes out, and I hope we've won, and I'll be stressed about it. But maybe you need to assess that as a neutral, isn't it?
I think it's pure hatred. You know, I really don't like each other. I don't think in terms of football, I wouldn't put it anywhere near top class or even good. I think it was quite poor. But I think the actual fans,
and it's wider politicalisation again of Cardiff get everything in Swansea's eyes, and Swansea wish they were the capital and should be the capital.
Right, okay. Stoke, Port Vale, El Ceramico, the Battle of the Potteries.
Is that what they call it, or have you called it that?
There's a book. There's a book called El Ceramico. Yeah. Pitch Publishing book, one of our publishers. Yeah. What do you reckon? El Ceramico, not bothered?
No. I know someone who worked up in Stoke, and it was bigger there, but yeah, it's local.
It's low, isn't it? Right. Sheffield Derby. Battle of the Steel City Derby. Sheffield Wednesday versus United.
All the games that I've watched are good. Yeah, they're quite heated.
What do you reckon?
I don't think maybe hate each other because it's the same city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
Okay. Better than Arsenal Chelsea. Right. Okay. The second City Derby. Birmingham against Aston Villa. This is always a really heated one. They don't like each other, do they? At all. Like each other. Where would you put it?
At least good. Again, the games I've seen of it. Perhaps we don't see it as much because Birmingham have been
Jack
top flight
Grealish
for a
getting
while.
punched in the face.
Yes, yeah, I remember that.
Deal Dublin
we can't
Savage.
condone that as much as I want to condone
it. Good.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Right. Okay. It's Forest against Derby. This is the Brian Clough Derby.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I think again they don't like each other, as is the case with most of these.
Lots of red cards, isn't it?
Yeah. Feisty. Again, not necessarily seen on the biggest of TV screens in terms of its priority in our schedule. But I think it's a good derby.
Okay, right. Oh, maybe not so much of a recent one as much. Man United Leeds, very heated.
I think this is a hatred one. I think it's a hatred one.
Yeah.
Leeds sing about United still, and United sing about Leeds still, and they don't want to do well. I think of those Jermaine Beckford classic, wasn't it? The FA Cup third round, I think it was. And
it's a shame it's obviously tailed off since Leeds have sort of had a decline, but there's a lot of hate to Rio Ferdinand, isn't there? Signing for United.
And possibly this is the most hated now, this next one.
Okay, Celtic against Rangers, the Old Firm derby. You can't even call it that if you're a Celtic fan. They don't call it that anymore, do they?
No.
Because they don't believe Rangers are the same club.
Stick it straight in the top of
there should be a tier about us put at the top. It's
the best derby.
Yeah. It's the best derby, probably maybe in the world. As up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay.
Massive history in it. They hate each other. It's worth more than just football to them.
The sectarian, isn't it? Okay. Right. Wolves, West Brom.
I know they care. It was on TV the other day, wasn't it? And there was the in the FA Cup. Remember the game was halted because of the violence in the crowd.
Okay.
It's okay.
It's all right. Right. Oh, Southend, Colchester. Not bothered. Ipswich against Norwich. This could come up. They could be playing each other recently.
Yeah.
They could be in the playoff final. These two, or something like that.
And they don't like each other. They really don't. Ipswich played Cardiff recently. They were singing about Norwich whilst we were there, and we were singing back to them about them being a rubbish Norwich. I think it's okay.
It's okay, isn't it? Yeah, it's nothing special. Not played at the top level enough. Right. Oh, West Ham, Millwall.
It's an old hooli derby.
That's got to be hatred then, isn't it?
An old hooligan derby, yeah.
Yeah, so that's more, you don't see that anymore. You saw it a few times in the early 2000s when West Ham went down to the Championship, but that's more of a, 70s, 80s.
And whenever they play each other, there's violence and trouble. Yeah.
Yes, don't want to be around there for that game. Preston, Blackpool.
Historic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've had it, not bothered, but okay. Right. Fulham, Chelsea is probably one of the weaker of the local derbies.
Yeah.
It's always a bit friendly, really. Everyone's a bit nice to each other.
Not bothered for me.
Not bothered? Yeah.
Let's put a big one in the not bothered.
Go on then. Right. Dundee against Dundee United. The closest to stadiums in the UK.
It's staggeringly close, isn't it? Literally a stone's throw. You could throw a stone from one to the other.
Yes. So what are we going to go with then? Obviously, it's pretty heated.
I think it's a good derby.
Good.
It's a good derby. It's not always the most watched, obviously, in English football, but it's one that British football.
Okay, Everton, Liverpool, the Merseyside Derby.
You can't call this pure hatred, can you? Because they don't despise the guts out of each other.
I think they do in terms of Everton despise Liverpool in terms of their success. And they hate it, and they're bitter about, of course, the 85 the Heysel and the fallout of not going to the European Cup. But, and obviously you see, it's the game with the most red cards, Premier League history. So on the pitch is pretty heated.
On the pitch it is, but often in the stands, sometimes they sit together,
A lot of families in Merseyside have fans on both sides. My dad's Liverpool, he's a Liverpool fan. My nanny, his mum, Everton fan.
Oh, there you go.
So it does happen. And you see them come together with things like the Hillsborough disaster, the fans coming together, joining with the Justice for 97 campaign. So there's two children come out onto the pitch. So I think there is even though they are heated on the pitch, it is generally more friendly. I think it's top class.
Yeah, top class.
It's a top class.
Enjoyable game. Often an enjoyable game.
Yes. Okay. Right. Okay. It is the battle of the South. It's Crystal Palace against Brighton.
Probably the M25 derby, is that what they call it, something like that? M-something. It's an M-something derby.
Some sort of motorway. But we don't even know what it is, so we can't have it too high.
They really care. But... and it's become more prominent because they're playing in the Premier League with each other now. But maybe
the battle of the birds, the Eagles versus the Seagulls.
At best, okay.
Okay, yeah. Right. Oh, that was a good one. The Time Weird Derby, Newcastle versus Sunderland.
There's been some quality ones through the years.
This somehow won our Rivalries World Cup on Twitter, didn't it?
Yeah, Toon Poles. Shout out Toon Poles.
Nice. Right. Okay. Where's it going?
I'm going to put it
top class.
Top class. Yeah. Really good game, some of them over the course of the Premier League.
Shame it's not been played much recently. Right, the Bristol Derby, Rovers vs City. I think the 7-side derbies.
I think Cardiff Bristol's bigger. Yeah.
Let's pop that in okay. Okay?
Yeah.
Do you have it higher?
No, I'll put it okay.
Right, Portsmouth, Southampton. Was when they were both in the Prem, it had a little bit about it, didn't it? But there wasn't really played much.
Yeah, so a couple of people I know of either side of that are big on they don't want success for either club. I suppose the problem is when they're not playing each other, there's a clear divide. Southampton are Premier League, Portsmouth are League 2 at times, League 1. So it was an obvious winner in that way of who was the better side. When they're playing each other, I think it's bigger. But for me, I'd put it in maybe okay.
Okay. Two more. Hibs Hearts. So we have this basically the old firm in Edinburgh, isn't it? Similar backgrounds. Hearts very similar to Rangers. Hibs similar to Celtic.
It's underrated. I think it's underrated.
I think so as well. I've watched a few of them recently. They get very heated. The fans hate each other.
I think it's top class.
I think so as well. I think it's really good, isn't it? Yeah. And finally, Oxford versus Swindon. I thought it'd be Oxford Cambridge, wouldn't it? But Oxford versus Swindon. You lived in Swindon for a bit, didn't you?
Yeah, 18 months I lived in Swindon. And I was teaching there, and loads of the kids really cared. Like, they did genuinely hate Oxford. And I've been to Oxford's ground, Cassam, and they hate Swindon. They were singing about Swindon. But for me, I think it's probably only...
Not bothered?
Not bothered.
Yeah, okay, not bothered. Right. This is our final list. Let's see what you guys think. So we have 6 in pure hatred. We have the Old Firm, we have Wimbledon MK Dons, Liverpool United, South Wales Derby, United Leeds, and West Ham Millwall. Going down then finally to our not bothered as well. Right, hopefully you all agree. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. Please give it a go yourself. The link to the tier maker is in the description below. We'd love to know what you guys think is the most heated, the best UK football derby. Happy with that list?
Yeah, I think we've given a good crack. It was one of the pre-made ones, wasn't it? We didn't make it, so there's maybe some that are missing. But I think we've given a fair representation across the whole of the UK there.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Right, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you again very soon for the next one.